Khabib Nurmagomedov, are his best days behind him? World champion, defended it successfully, worldwide fame, pocket full of money, inducted into the Hall of Fame. I mean, right, whatever goes up must come down. I know it doesn't sound like a good thing when you say, well, your best days are behind you, but when you have the level of success of Khabib, how do you trump that? And I will tell you, guys don't get into fighting for fame and fortune. They're not chasing records and titles. They say they are. But the records and titles are a byproduct. The byproduct of what the guy really got in the sport for, which is respect. Just to get the respect of the community, the respect of your peers, so that when your window closes and your time is done, you can hold your head up high, come into events, and be viewed and seen by other people who you respected. That's it. That is the number one thing. Everything else is a derivative thereof. The money and the championships and the Hall of Fame, that wasn't what the motivation was. The motivation was to get respect of a particular industry of which you chose, in this case, mixed martial arts. All right. Khabib did it. There is nobody who disrespects Khabib, and that includes the sitting current champion, which is not something, if I was in his spot, I could tell you I would do. One thing that Charles Oliveira had over Khabib was that Charles was around at the same time and their paths never crossed. In a perfect world, if you're Team Khabib, whoever grabs that belt and runs with it next will be somebody who you beat during your time. Thus, the belt lives on through you. Now, there's nothing you can do to control that, right? I mean, that's complete luck. But it's also the luck that happened to fall on the side of George St. Pierre. George got to beat everybody of yesterday, everybody of his time, and then he got to beat the next generation, evident of the fact that Johnny Hendricks, who George beat, went on and became the champion. It's just one of those things. There's nothing you can do. That didn't happen to Khabib, but you want to know who doesn't agree with me? Charles Oliveira. I do not suggest for you that Charles wouldn't take that fight. I do not suggest for you that Charles doesn't believe he can beat him. I'm not telling you Charles could beat him. I'm suggesting what Charles thinks. He doesn't do it. You want to know why he doesn't do it? You want to know why he doesn't call out Khabib? You want to know why Charles doesn't do what Chael Sonnen would do if I was in Charles's shoes? Respect. The champ respects the champ. Charles Oliveira wants Khabib recognized for what he is, which is the greatest and most dominant fighter of that time, the end. That's not wonderful for Charles. That's not wonderful for Charles's team. That's not wonderful for Charles's career. Charles doesn't care because he respects Khabib. It's a big deal. It's a very, very big deal. I did a show with Khabib. It's called Eagle FC. Took place on a Friday night. We were in Florida. Khabib was there. I go home. I turn on Bellator that night, which happens to be one day later and then across the country. It was in Arizona. Khabib was in a guy's corner. The guy fighting Benson Henderson. Khabib is a true coach and he's a true mentor, and he's attempting to live on the legacy set by his father. And it's very rare that somebody can coach and do it well. You don't see Michael Jordan coaching an NBA team. You don't see Joe Montana coaching an NFL team. It's generally you can do one or the other. But there is exceptions to that. I maintain, and history will prove me right, that Dominic Cruz will go on to coach more world champions than Dominic personally won. Dominic's best days are still in front of him on the other side, but it looks like so are Khabib's. So before you think the answer to this question I put out there of are Khabib's best days behind him, not necessarily. They would be for most, and those days are going to be just fine and life is going to be wonderful, but not necessarily. Khabib is about to get the greatest distinction that our industry can bestow on anybody, which is an induction into the Hall of Fame. They bring you out, they make it official, they give you a jacket, but there is no greater honor that our industry has than that. And I also think that Khabib is going to be coaching a stable full of champions. Islam comes to mind right now, whether Islam gets the belt or not. I think that Nurmagomedov, who turned out to be Khabib's cousin that fought Brian Kelleher over the weekend. Look, if I had any magic wand, if I had any wish for this past weekend's fights, is that nothing bad happened to Brian Kelleher. I do not want him cut. I do not want his placement on the card diminished. Brian Kelleher took some very heavy lifting. Brian Kelleher is tough as an old leather boot. He just was in there with a better fighter. Kelleher was a 10-1 dog, and he went out there and he tried to win that match. I know a lot of guys, when you get beat or you get stopped or all losses are not the same. All defeats are not the same. There is a meaningful difference in the level of competition. And a guy walking out and doing it anyway, and I bring that to you. I want to peg Kelleher. I was impressed with him. I was very proud of him. But I also saw the skills of Nurmagomedov with Khabib in his corner. And Khabib had a couple of guys on the card. He doing his training in the AKA when he's in California under Javier Mendez. Got his own gym going in Dagestan. Got a promotion going in Florida. And he doesn't miss anything. Got guys in Eagle FC, guys in Bellator, guys in the UFC. Khabib's there. He's with them. That's a guy who's present. That's not just a name. That's not just a figure. That's somebody who cares. It's very hard to imagine somebody with the level of success of Khabib, when he puts a bow on it, can still have equal or greater success, but Khabib is the rarity. He might go on to be one of the great coaches of all time. That journey has begun. His intentions are sincere. The stable is full. The horses are out of the barn. Where's Khabib going to go? How many metaphors can I give you? The horses are out of the barn. Listen, it's real though. And I want to know. I just want you to make your prediction. Guy that's going to the Hall of Fame, that's got a stable full of guys that are signed to major promotions that are seeking world championships. Is he going to win more there than he won himself? I'm giving him 29. He's 29-0 as an athlete. World champion as an athlete. Defended it multiple times as an athlete. Can he coach guys to do equal or greater things? That's my question, and my prediction is yes.